Hey, this is Perry Duff coming at you live from the Hustle School in New York City, saying thank you for joining us again in this part 2 of our session with Tequila Fletcher of Tressaholic Beauty Supply. We talk about why it's so important that you target the market, not the race of the people that you are catering to, and why it's so important to educate, not just sell to them. We also talk about why it's so important to understand that, even though there are other ethnicities within the Black community selling goods and services, they did their homework, which I have to admit, she's correct about. They definitely did their homework to get there, and that we actually can learn from them. So with that said, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. I'm looking forward to you checking out this series. And as always, smash that like button, share, don't forget to leave a comment, and most of all, subscribe. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
You know I'm a hustler. You know I'm a hustler. Well, I'ma break it down one time. I'm the man and I'm letting y'all know. Yeah, we getting that guap, that fitted, them chips. Yeah, we stacking that dough. I said I'm a hustler, baby. You know I'm a hustler. You know I'm the man. I'm a hustler, baby. You know I'm a hustler. You know I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm the man.
We as African Americans need to open our eyes a little bit more. I'm one of those people that I believe in that give back by Black. And I feel like if more of us really understand the power of our dollars, then we would do more and give more, even back into like businesses like myself. I mean, and I do feel like that some other ethnicities do have more advantage of getting their hands on more capital, which means that they're able to come into our communities. And as I've always stated, because, a part of one of the businesses that I also have as well is that I do help other businesses, other entrepreneurs set up businesses. And one of the things that I've always asked them is, who is your target audience? You got to know all of that before that put that into your plan of action. And I was asked before, was I upset that they come into the community and they capitalize off the Black dollar? And my answer was no. And my reason being is simply because I look at it like this. I understand business. This is what I do. And my market myself is I'm not going to say just to the Black community, it's to anybody. Like one day I had someone walk into my store, and she asked me, she was Caucasian, and she asked me, is this store for Black people? I said, no, ma'am. This store is for anybody who want to spend their money and purchase a product out of this place. I just may have to be a Black owner that sells predominantly Black hair care that's supposed to be for us, but your money is green, ma'am. And all she could do was start laughing. One of those things, like I tell people, instead of getting upset about what they do, take out your handbook and learn from them. And that's what I did. I was asking questions whether or not you want to answer them or not, because you may look up on that one person that would just give you the golden gem, give you that ticket that's going to elevate you to whatever level that you're trying to get on. So that means that if these other ethnicities, people that are setting up in our business, set up into our neighborhood, which means that the products that they're trying to sell is marketed towards Black. So they did their due diligence by putting it in the Black community. Now, where the problem comes in is how you cater to our people, or just to the customers just in general. How dare you slam my sister or my brother to the ground when we come into your store to help you stay in business? How dare you? But I always say this too. There has been situations, like I just had a customer tell me just the other day that she was in the store and she was trying to return something that she had literally just purchased. And they accused her of taking hair out of the bag. Now, this argument went on for at least a hot 10 minutes. And she said,
in your establishment?
Not in my establishment. This was in another store. This was being owned store or Chinese or whatever. Accused her of taking hair out of the pack. And like I said, she said that she stood there and had words for at least 5-10 minutes with them. And she said, give me, basically I want a refund, and let me get on out your store, yada yada yada. And she said, you would have thought maybe some of the people behind her would have been like, power to the people, let's rally with her. But she said that is not what they did. So some of us just don't care. And I say, until we get to a place where we say, you know what, I don't care how long it takes me to seek out to go find somebody else to do business with. And that's what I'm doing. Because if I would have been in that line, I would have walked out. Because there's 100 other stores within the same 2-mile radius that I could have gone to. Respect is respect. And I think that's why a lot of people were very happy, even when I had my 300 square foot space of beauty supplies, that they didn't have to go down that street. And it's not so much as I'm trying to bash any other beauty supply owners of ethnicities or whatever the case may be, but it always boils down to how you treat people. And until people get to a place to where you value how you are treated, it's going to continuously always be that.
Well, let me ask you this. Yeah. Did she actually try to steal? Was she found actually complicit in trying to shoplift, or was it
not trying to shoplift? She had purchased some hair that she was trying to return. They accused her of taking some hair out of the pack, so which is the reason why they didn't want to give her a refund. And she was like, why would I take hair out of this pack and bring it back to the store? Like, that makes no sense. I was literally just here. Like, you can see the time and the date that showed you that I was just literally just here. And you mean to tell me I'll go and, like, she was just appalled. She was just like, I just couldn't believe it. And she was just like, I wouldn't put another stitch of nothing in my head, especially if I got to do business with them.
That sounds like, a lot of these stores, like most of the owners of these stores, they hire people, management or partnership, and they don't go by the rules and the policy of the stores.
Right.
So when it comes to something, you explain about the refunds, I'm sure there's a policy behind the refunds. Am I right?
Right. Well, a lot of them, from my understanding, they'll have like a no refund policy. They'll say, well, I have a refund, but you can do an exchange, something to the likings of that. It was one time that I literally had to go back to the hair store with my client. And I told them, you're going to give her back her money. Her to the store to get a specific item. And because you wanted to sell her something that was cheaper, that's not what I sent her to the store for. I wanted human hair. I didn't ask for human blend, synthetic. I didn't ask for that. And after they went on and on, I said, okay, who's managing? I said, because at that time, I didn't have a lot of this hair. I only had like virgin hair and stuff like that, but I needed a different type of hair that I needed for her service. And I was like, we spend too much money up in here. And I raised her, and they gave her back her money. And I went across the street and I gave them the money. And I haven't shopped in there when I don't care what I would have needed. I'm like, do not go back over there. I have not been back over there since. Well, I mean, I don't have to now. I'm home.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. So a lot of these stores, they don't have refund policy, and that's why there's a lot of time. Like up in New York, it's a lot of them in New York don't have the refund policy. That's why they give a lot of, especially African American, a lot of hard time
the thing
to give back the money.
You have people who will do the foolishness. They'll use it up and bring you back. And I get it. You know what I mean? Like, somebody to literally open up something, take a little bit out of it and be like, oh, I don't like this, and didn't want to bring it back. Some of us, not us, but us, are notorious to go wear something, wear the shoes, the outfit, and take it wreck. Like it's nothing, So my loss is $1 loss. And, especially with myself, depending upon the product, I will give them a refund. I do also like a no refund policy because of once, and then with COVID and, germs and things like that, a lot of times that they don't want to have to resell a product that has been possibly tampered with. And I can look at something and tell if it's being used. You know what I mean? Most hair care products have seals in them and stuff like it's broken and it's not in resellable condition. If it's something I just can't wipe the bottle down and reshelf it, or wipe the outside packaging down and reshelf it, then I cannot. But if you've taken a hair out, pop the seal on it, it's nothing that I can do with that.
Let me ask you this. How many times have people come to you for a refund, especially in our community? Would you say a few, B, a lot, or C, a whole lot?
I mean, to my store personally, none. I literally had someone bring something back to me. It was some beard coloring stuff. And she said, you know what, Tequila? My husband said it's the wrong thing. I don't even want a refund, but I want to return the product back to you. So it's, over here, it's so far, thing has been wonderful. Like I can honestly say that Tampa has been showing out for you, girl. They have been showing out. I literally had somebody just the other day that she came and purchased a product, and she realized, because once our we had issues with our Wi-Fi or something, and the transition didn't go through. And to be honest with you, I didn't even notice that had actually happened. And she came back the next day and she said, hey, I just wanted to come back and let you rerun my card again. She said, because the transaction never came off. And when I looked into the system, I could see that it did. And I was just like, you know what? Thank you. Because some people would have just been like, free product or whatever, but she was like, I wouldn't do that to you. So I just appreciate all. And like I say, so far, no one has returned anything. Like I say, the one lady, she did bring something back, but she didn't even want her money back. She was just like, it hasn't been open. My husband, people didn't want to use it, and I wanted to bring it back to you. So I'm like, did you want to get something else out of the store to replace? She's like, no, I'm fine. Bye, Tequila. I'll see you later. I'm like, okay.
Now, what would you? I mean, this is coming from your clients. Are they predominantly African American? Correct?
Yeah, the majority are African American. I have had some Caucasian women come in here because they have mixed children and Spanish, because I kind of live in my store resides in like a very mixed, diverse neighborhood. So I have a little bit of everybody coming. Like I said, I'm just a Black beauty supply owner, but I don't cater to just African American people. I cater to whoever want to spend their money and buy something in my store.
Yeah.
But what amazes me,
I agree with what you were saying.
the level that you're showing us here, the level of loyalty. That's amazing.
Listen, my people, we ain't all what they want to talk bad about us, but it's a bunch of us out here that's just honest and just good, genuine people, And like I say, Tampa has been showing out with sports that I honestly really appreciate it. Outlets like guys reaching out to me being able just to reach a broader audience have been nothing but amazing. Like when people call in and say, oh, I seen you on such and such on YouTube and this and that, and honey, we'll start talking like we just good old girls, So it's just one of those things. I just love it. And I appreciate y'all for even having me on today as well.
Well, that's good.
No. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
I'm the man. It's been part of the plan. I don't think you understand. I see him on the gram while they flexing rubber bands. I'm working on my foreign exchanges out in Japan. $250,000 out in Philly, 50 grand in Michigan. Appearance in Atlanta, that's another 20 bands. Bring it back to the crib and invested in my daughter.
This concludes this session of the Hustle's Corner, New York City. If you are a person that's incarcerated and you have books that you'd like to get out and you want to share your story, come share your story on the Hustle's Corner, New York City Tales from the Bid series. If you are a person who has been wrongfully convicted of a crime that you did not commit and you want to share your story, come share your story on the Hustle's Corner, New York City Victims of the System series. If you are a person who has been self-reformed, active in the community, came out of a past nefarious life to a more positive one, and you want to share your story, come share your story on the Hustle's Corner, New York City Legends of the Hood series. If you are a Black business owner and you want to share your story of how you got your business off the ground and how you faced many challenges to succeed, come share your story on the Hustle's Corner, New York City Black Business Movement series. If you are a musician or an artist or a vocalist or a rap or hip hop artist and you want to share your story about your career and how you have grown it into success,
Come share your story on the Hustle's Corner New York City On the Grind series. And if you are a woman who has been through traumatic times in her life only to overcome them, come share your story on the Hustle's Corner New York City Lipstick Stories series. And if you're enjoying the show, please help us grow. Show your love. Like, share, leave a comment, and most of all, subscribe. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you again. This is Perry L. Duff from the Hustle's Corner, New York City. Peace.